Welcome back to Spitballin Cards. In today's video, we're talking about the Paul Skenes superfractor sale that just happened, as well as Aaron Judge, and if some of us, Jeff and Chris, were wrong about him not being a good buy heading into the season. So in this episode, we have me, Scott, Phil, Jeff, and Ty. Chris actually isn't here, so we won't be mean to Chris or anything. But in this video, we just want to discuss a few different topics. The very first one, I'm going to share my screen, tee this up so we can talk about it. And that is going to be the Paul Skenes superfractor autograph. This card just sold for $80,000. And I actually might be the most expensive pitcher sale of all time. I'll have to go look and see if that's the case. But one of the top 3 or 4 most expensive sales of a pitcher ever for a very hyped up prospect in Paul Skenes. So my question for you all is, what could possibly go wrong? No, but the real question I have for you is, what are your thoughts on this card? Do you think there's a world where it could appreciate realistically? And if this is a risk you would ever consider taking yourself? Phil, let's hear what you have to say.
I think it might have been the 3rd most expensive card of all time. I think the Kershaw superfractor and maybe red did better.
Of like modern pitchers?
Yes, for modern. Bowman Chrome sale. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
if we go further back, there's
the Babe Ruth pitching.
Yeah. Modern.
But I mean, this is in the ballpark with I think the Kershaw red high. Just like if you look over the last 5 or 6 years, this information might be difficult to pull up, but it's like the average of a pitcher's fastball velocity, like the average versus their max, that gap is closing each year. Like
what they can get to versus what they sit at.
Yeah, exactly. So pitchers are just averaging closer to where they sit at. So they're really
they're just firing
high stress pitches, high stress innings. So at this point, we know that velocity also is likely the most significant variable for elbow injuries and serious arm issues. And Skenes is an outlier because he throws so hard. Now, I'll give him a little bit of credit. He's got the build today that is more like, I don't know, a Verlander. Some of the guys that just haven't gotten hurt. Closer to Garrett Cole, but a little bit taller. What is he, 6'7", 250, something like that? So, not saying he will get injured. And this could turn out to be a good deal. I just don't think it will be. I think the odds are definitely against that for sure. And I was trying to bring up his Baseball Savant page. I'm sure the underlyings are really solid. I think he was compared. Now, this is going to sound silly because the repertoire is completely different and because he's right-handed and Chris Sale's left-handed. But Cyrus from the Rates and Barrels podcast, he was saying that one of his comps from a stuff perspective is kind of like Chris Sale, except he's not wiry. And he's a little bit less like herky-jerky, right? He's more over the top than Chris Sale. I don't think this is going to work out. I think Paul Skenes was a pretty good buy back in January, February, March. You could get a gold refractor Bowman Chrome auto for under $2,000. This is a guy that's dating Libby Dunn. That's her name, right? Isn't she more well known than every single baseball player, including Ohtani, to the casual person in pop culture? So that could be a big deal, right? This isn't exactly a Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift type of thing, but it's worth mentioning. It's worth mentioning for sure.
5.2 million followers. Ohtani has more, but I bet he's the only player. I'd bargain to say.
He paid for his followers, though.
Did he?
Probably.
He bet on
Somebody
them.
check that.
There was a FanDuel line.
1.7. Anyways.
That's crazy.
I do want to say one thing, Phil. He actually has been pretty good. 2.45 ERA, whip below 1, 30 strikeouts in 22 innings.
Oh, geez.
Like that. Okay. That's pretty good. He had his debut was great until the bullpen blew it, which blew up his ERA for that first start. And then he's been great.
Had I been asked this maybe 6 months ago before I decided to take the plunge into pitchers, we've discussed pitchers a lot because we've been talking about how after the current generation of stars, Verlander, Kershaw, Scherzer, where the next Hall of Famer is going to come from. What are those benchmarks going to be? And I think we had talked about Strider being maybe the next guy. Garrett Cole is slightly younger than that first group, and he's on a Hall of Fame path. So this offseason, I finally Chris and I decided to bite the bullet and buy some pitching cards, and we invested some money in Garrett Cole and Spencer Strider cards, and we saw how that turned out. So I'm completely off of pitchers. I'm just not going to do it. I know he's tall and big, but Strider seemed like he was going to be good for a little while before needing another surgery. That turned out not to be the case. So I don't know. I don't see it going up from here anytime soon. And especially because he's also with the Pirates and they don't have a huge hobby presence. The Pirates team player. So I would avoid it. I mean, I guess the person that bought it probably had enough money where this wasn't really a huge issue for them. So good luck.
Speaking of that, how much would you have paid for that card? What's your top dollar offer that you think is reasonable?
Well,
I'm not putting on the spot. I don't know if you've thought about
the money.
No.
1/10 of that.
$8,000.
$8,500.
Yeah, I can't see it being more than a $10,000 card, especially since it's a 7. Come on.
Yeah, well, I'd probably do a little multiplier stuff here. I would pay close to what I think the red's worth for him. So the gold times like 5-ish, because he's a pitcher. He doesn't get like the crazy red multipliers. So what's the gold worth now? So probably I'd pay probably the highest of at least the three of us. I don't know what Scott would pay. I'd pay close to 20, around 20, maybe 25.
I'd be around 20. I'd be 17 to 20 is where I'd probably sit on it personally. Let's see if I can find a red Bowman Chrome. Oh, you want gold Bowman Chrome autograph, Phil? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, check a gold. Maybe it's like 4,000 now.
It's probably up quite a bit since.
Yeah, you could have got one for like 1,800 to 2,200 for a number of months in the offseason.
There is a raw for sale. Oh, it's a gold wave. Never mind. Any true golds? Lots of gold shimmers, gold sapphires. No, here's a true gold. PSA 9 true gold. May 19th went for $2,500.
Okay.
Oh, May 19th. It's pretty good.
So and May 19th is the last one. $2,200 raw, $1,500 raw. May 18th. That's a wave. Man, those waves. I hate them. And shimmers. He has waves and shimmers.
Hey.
So 10, 15, maybe something like that.
Probably $2,500 right now for a gold raw. Probably $3,500 for a gold PSA 9. I'd guess. So where would that put for you with your multiplier, Phil?
Yeah, that's right around where you are. 17, 18.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, here's a question.
Yeah.
Which card will be worth more in 3 years? This Paul Skenes or Caitlin Clark's superfractor auto?
Oh, that's a great question. I want to talk about
that one sold for $78,000.
That sold for $78,000?
$78,000.
Is that the Bowman University?
Right now she's shooting like 37% and averaging 7.5 turnovers a game.
Yeah, she's getting roughed up
and getting trucked by other chicks. But
what's the card, Ty?
It's the ball here. I'll share my screen. It's a Bowman University. So what I did, I'll show you what I was doing. I was just trying to look at some other kind of comps here. Went into Market Movers and threw in just Bowman and then like a bunch of years, basically from 2005 until now, and was kind of looking to see like what have other cards sold for. I put a filter on for the last year. So here's the Skenes. Here's Caitlin Clark, and just blow that up a little bit. That one sold for $78,000, which is really interesting considering the Wembanyama. Where'd that go? I went right by it. It's a sticker auto, but this one sold for less than Caitlin Clark. Can you believe that?
Well, is that due to the fact that Caitlin Clark's not going to be a Panini product while Wembanyama will be?
Her sale, that was just unprecedented, that sale for her. I mean, just completely unprecedented. It was a lot of energy around her.
She's in the public zeitgeist. I
think completely. Yeah. But I was trying to see, like, are there any other, purely pitchers who have
while you're looking at that, to me, it's an opportunity cost. Yeah. What kind of Ohtani or Soto or Judge could you get for $80,000?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's why I put the date filter on here, because everything I was zipping around in that price range was all Mickey Mantle, so like Bowman Mantles. So
look at that.
An interesting one, like to see the Ethan Salas, he's young and promising, selling for less than half of Skenes.
I like that gold Trout right below for $35,000. I mean, I wouldn't pay that for that card right now, but compared to
Right, but
the Paul
if somebody
Skenes,
gave you
it seems like a
80,000.
better pickup to me.
It's my favorite activity to go through just opportunity costs, right? Look at Junior Caminero. We were just
There you go,
sort of
Phil.
joking around about him last episode, but
Hey, speaking of superfractors, what happened to Wyatt Langford? Holy
Yeah,
crap.
that was one of the data points I used. That Caminero for 34,000. That was one of the data points I used to say that Wyatt at that time was a steal at 25K, 27K, whatever was paid. But yeah, Langford. Maybe Scott, maybe you're right. You made a comment during that video, like, well, maybe this guy will be happy. The fact that maybe Wyatt busts and maybe he'll be happy he never bought that card. And I said, well, he's probably going to flip it real fast anyways. But maybe he would have kept it. And you're right, Scott. That could have hurt him.
That would have been brutal.
Look at that.
There's an orange Soto. I mean, there's a lot of
10 Pop 1 Soto went for over 100K, or that was a few days ago, right?
Mookie. It's amazing what you can stack up.
Yeah.
For 80K.
You could get a red Mookie and a red Soto for the price of that one.
You get a whole lot of mums. You can get a bunch of different things.
That Alec Thomas seems really high. That is a high sale.
That was last year when he was
World Series
came up and he was killing it.
Holy cow!
He had a few good playoff games.
Here you go.
So did
every day.
I know who bought that card. I won't say who it was.
You do.
I know who did.
So
it wasn't me.
Yeah.
It wasn't me.
But I mean, what you're not seeing here is a lot of pitchers, right? I will say, specific to the mechanics, I did have the thought, Phil, that when I watch Skenes pitch, there's nothing about his arm movement that makes me like grimace, like that his arm's about to snap. Like it looks when I watch him pitch, it reminds me of Verlander. Like I watch Verlander pitch and I'm like, yeah, he's going to be like durable. Now he's had major injury problems, obviously too, but it's not the same as, some of these other guys whose arms are the motion and how far back it is before it snaps forward just seems like so unnatural that I get really concerned about there.
Yeah. I think Verlander's biggest issue happened like sort of middle of his career. And people thought like, he lost his velocity, like Verlander's done.
I thought he was.
Was that a neck thing? It was something strange.
He had something like cervical. He's had a few different things, but I thought Verlander was toast.
He had a 4 point. So he went from 2.4 ERA, 2.64 ERA, 3.46 to 4.54 at age 31 and looked really bad. He led the league in earned runs. And that's when I think you were feeling that way. And then he got traded to the Astros a few years later, and all of a sudden he was better than he's ever been. So,
yeah. So I'd say like arm-wise, he's held up pretty good.
He had the Tommy John, but that's at age 38. So I mean, like that makes sense now where he put on it. How many innings did he throw before his Tommy John? Let's look. Before his first Tommy John, only Tommy John, he threw 2,988 innings, almost 3,000 innings, which is pretty impressive.
All right. So I'm going to play a game. So if Paul Skenes' first Tommy John happens after age 37, what's the probability that this is a good price, this superfractor?
Well, what do you think of the Justin Verlander superfractor? Is that card worth $85,000? That's the question. If you think it is, then that's the ceiling. I can't imagine.
It's not, but it should be. I feel like.
I mean,
I feel like these top tier pitchers from this last generation / current should be like prized possessions personally, but
that's the thing. They're not pitchers. They're
not.
An Orange Kershaw, who is the best pitcher, one of the best pitchers of all time, at least regular season. You can say all the postseason stuff.
Yeah.
Regular season, literally one of the best pitchers of all time. His orange went for like 15,000. I know that's a lot of money, but he has no parallels. He doesn't have a gold wave, a gold shimmer, and a gold. He has an orange, red, gold superfractor, blue refractor. That's it. Like he has nothing compared to these modern guys, and they can't even get that much money for it. So,
but Scott, this guy is Stephen Strasburg caliber.
What happened to Stephen Strasburg, Phil?
I was going to share.
Oh no.
I was going to share some of my pitcher purchases prior to 2019. So a lot of these are back in 2014. I've got a spreadsheet. I'm going to run through these. And there's some like Rivera's, Maddox's mixed in. So I'll skip those guys. So this is like, the hottest pitchers at the time, or some of them. And I think only one of them would be, or two of them would be like in the Paul Skenes kind of stratosphere. But just keep in mind, like, they were hot at the time, right? And then what do we think of these guys now? Carlos Rodon, Jose Fernandez, Fernandez.
That just makes me sad.
Yeah, Strasburg.
He could have been something.
Yeah, I know. Taijuan Walker,
Oh,
Jose Fernandez again. Clearly, I like this guy. I promise it'll get worse. Drew Storen. I mean, I paid $32 for it, but yeah, Drew Storen, the closer for the Nationals. Scott probably doesn't remember him. Aroldis Chapman was big at the time. So was Joba Chamberlain, I think. Trevor Bauer. What could have been? Any comments, guys, on Trevor Bauer? Just kidding. I'll move
not
forward.
guilty.
Chris Sale. Yeah. Garrett Cole. Taijuan Walker again. Mike Minor, who almost led the league in WAR once.
Yeah.
That's about it. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But I didn't spend that much on pitchers, I guess, or I don't know. Maybe I didn't do a great job saving records back in 2014, 2015.
The only
Michael
pitcher
Wacha. I had some Waka cards.
Waka.
Oh, probably because I never sold them. They didn't show up.
Shane Bieber's the one that got me. I believed in Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
More than I should have. That was brutal. I also had a lot of Scherzer and Verlander, but those were like after they were established. They weren't prospect buys.
What do you, I got one. I want to know what you guys think this card sold for. I'll quiz your knowledge here quick. It's not the superfractor. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even know this parallel existed. I could see Chris shaking his fist in the air. Jackson Job's Black Wave Refractor 1 of 1 Chrome Prospect Auto. What do you think this card sold for?
You guys should override the comps in market movers and just mark to market this guy at 0, because how is he not going to have? I mean, the upside is Spencer Strider, the downside is Oblivion, right?
The downside is Stephen Strasburg. All right, I'll just tell you, it sold for $3K. He's the number 2 pitching prospect after Skenes, just for the record. For everybody.
Is he really?
Yes.
Yeah. He's another guy who throws 102. He's not.
So now that Skenes is in the bigs, he's the number 1 pitching prospect in the minor leagues. And this isn't the superfractor. I get it, but it sold for $3,000.
1 of 1.
His stuff is nasty. He is nasty.
Yeah.
He's just as nasty as Skenes.
Is he a tiger?
Yeah.
You're talking about him like he's a tiger.
I'm just hoping and praying, we can keep Scooble clarity.
Yeah, the issue with buying a card like this, well, there's a lot of issues. The issue with his market in general is that unfortunately the hobby is not completely retarded, and people, you buy guys like that to take advantage of those hot weeks, the hot runs, the months, right? But it's going to take longer to get build up because people have PTSD from all these other pitchers, especially of late, what's happened this year. So you can still make money on him, but that's like the ultimate hot potato. Might as well just buy Mason Miller.
You guys remember 2 weeks ago when I said I was going to buy a Chris Sale? So I bought this card and I was like, yeah, cool. I got it. And then I said, now watch him have a really bad outing now that I've bought one of his cards. And then yesterday he promptly gave up 8 earned runs.
Did he really?
Yeah. Which brings up an interesting topic when you look at season-long aggregate stats and how some guys will have 15 really good outings and then give up 8 runs in 3 innings and their ERA gets screwed up. But then other guys might go out and, consistently give up 4 earned runs in a game, just sort of interesting when you think about stats. But yeah, I literally got that card in the mail, opened it, and then he gave up 8 earned runs. So the curse of Chris is upon me.
Yeah, you and Chris and Jeff, don't buy any players I like, please. But speaking of which, I know we talked about discussing Aaron Judge. I think we can do it for about 5 minutes or so before we end this episode. I think we talked pitchers to death. Also, Chris Sale has a 3.06 ERA, even with that 8 earned runs. Shows how good he's been.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge, when we talked about him prior to this season, and Chris and Jeff, your thoughts were, I don't want to put words in your mouth, Jeff. So if I say something wrong, please tell me. But basically, you're not very high on him. He debuted late. And on top of that, he's playing center field with the injury risk and history. So that's not a player you want to allocate any of your money into. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Chris was very concerned about him being the everyday center fielder.
Chris, much more than you. Yes. He's
Yeah,
out.
but I mean, my biggest concern is his health risk, and as you mentioned, his late start. So, not that he's not collectible or not good, but just coming into the season, I was skeptical of his all-time great status potential.
Okay. With that being
And
said, let me ask you this. Are you feeling different about him now after his recent play?
I think he's much more likely to be. I feel like he's more likely to be an all-time great than I thought earlier this year. But that's only 60 games, and he's at 45 career WAR, I believe, Baseball Reference WAR. We talked in our chat a little bit about other players that are Yankees, so they're popular even if they don't have long careers, like Don Mattingly, for instance. So I feel like he'll still be collectible. But my opinion hasn't changed that I think he's too expensive for what you get. So coming into the season, when we were asked whether we thought he was a good buy or not, I said no. And I still don't change that. I don't think he's a good buy now. I didn't think he was a good buy then. So if you're buying him now, I believe you're buying that all-time great status built in, which is
Or you're
fine.
just buying,
Great.
or you're just buying at him hitting for 60 plus home runs again in a season and watching his cards go nuclear between now and the end of the season.
Which could happen, like realistically.
So you think he's a good short-term buy from right now?
Maybe only if he does that. That's the gamble. If he breaks 60 again this season, his cards are going to go psycho. Like, especially if the Yankees have the best record in baseball.
Yeah, if the Yankees can have postseason success with Aaron Judge being the MVP,
yeah, and Soto number 2, like
his cards are going to be crazy. I will say, I do think, and I did think that his cards were a good buy. I think Phil did too, because we were both going after the same cards, and neither of us won because they are expensive, Jeff, to your point. But I think Phil and I both were going after, I think, a gold Bowman Chrome autograph. We both barely lost on 2 different gold Bowman Chrome autographs. And the hard part is a lot of Aaron Judge collectors, they just have his cards so high on buy it now and best offer. You can find some auctions for some good deals, and that's what we were hoping for, but it just didn't work out. And I don't know, they're up since then. So like it's tough, but do we think this is the peak of Judge? He's 32, had almost 33. Or do we think, unlike Stanton, who kind of broke down, and it's probably an unfair comparison because very different games, besides hitting home runs and they have a similar height, like they're very different players in almost every single way. But you kind of get lumped in when you're, the same height and same teammates and all that stuff. But do we think that he can sustain this for another 2 to 3 years after this year and have one of the highest OPS plus in history? Literally, he has a 166 career OPS plus, which is probably 4th or 5th for a right-handed hitter all time, which is crazy to hear. Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know if he's a good medium-term buy, meaning 3 to 5 years out. I don't know if he's a good long-term buy. But in January, February, March of this year, I thought he was a good buy for this year.
Me too.
And there's a lot of people out there that are looking at J-Rod, looking at Juan Soto even, who I really, really like, and he's my PC, and Tatis and others, and they're trying to find really the next Aaron Judge. Well, why not buy the now Aaron Judge? Second MVP would be nice. One arguably got stolen away from Altuve, so give him 2.5. That puts him above Harper, I guess. But over the last few years, I've looked at Yordan Alvarez, and I've really wanted to like Yordan Alvarez a little bit more, even in spite of like the knees, the legs, the lower body. We've talked about a lot in this channel. And I see with Yordan Alvarez, I see a guy that kind of does what Judge does when he's right, when he's consistent, when he's on, when he's healthy. He has that ability to put up a solid average, a solid OBP, because he doesn't strike out as much as Judge, the ability to have that higher average as well as the home runs, but he's never hit over 40, I don't think. He hasn't done that yet. He hasn't had a 300 average, 40 home run season. So why try to push and make an argument for Jordan and buy his cards when you could buy the guy that's done it and he's been doing it? And Scott will show us the bottom of that Baseball Savant. Oh, you're on Baseball Reference.
I can go to Baseball Savant right now, though.
This guy, if you look at his career, Baseball Savant, look at the last 4 years. And I hate the Yankees, although I like Soto a little bit. And, you know, I've said this before, but there aren't that many unlikable players on the Yankees, in my opinion now. But go even further down. Go to the bottom.
Bottom.
Yeah. You just there.
This right here, right?
Yeah. So expected WOBA last 3 years, 100th percentile. Expected slugging last 3 years, 100th percentile all 3 years. Expected ISO, which is kind of correlated to slugging. OBP expected 100th percentile for 2 of those 3 years and 99th for the other. Exit velocity, the last one. Every year he's been in the league 100th. Okay, he's a big dude. But look at that walk rate last 3 years, 99, 100, 99. And he's a solid fielder. And then the sprint speed is slowing down like the last 4 years, but who cares? I thought he was a good buy. And the one thing I would say now is if we're truly making this a lot about what he means to the Yankees and the fan base there, if that's going to be a big part of why he's a good buy, well, you've got to watch out now for Juan Soto. And it looks like the chance of Juan Soto getting an extension from the Yankees, those chances have increased since he's come off to a torrid start. Usually this time he's at like, early June, he's at like 8 home runs. He's at double that right now. And he's top, 2? Is he first in the league in OPS or right behind Judge? He's right there. He's top 3 in the majors in WAR, maybe number 2 there. So the difference between me and Scott, we both got shut out in the offseason, right? I knew my only opportunity to buy anything of Judge was to get him if he started off slow, which he did. He was pretty bad in April. And honestly, he didn't really get going till the first week in May, it seemed like. I know his average started to come back, but that power surge really started probably May 7th, May 8th. So I took a shot at the wax market and I absolutely killed it. So Jumbo 578. I mean, these were last year more than that, at least $650. Regular hobby boxes. So you see here, April 15th. So hobby boxes I was buying last year of Topps Chrome for between $410 to $440, $265 in this auction. This another hobby box 310, a blaster 66. Those were easily 100 last year. Another blaster 70, another blaster 83, another hobby box 296, 289, 305, bang. And then one more on May 31st for 318. So, and then I was able to pick up, I can't find the damn card, so I'm gonna have to show you a picture of it. This was May 7th, picked up a Bowman Chrome auto.
Oh, is that a refractor?
There it is. It's a refractor, Scott, so it counts. It counts as a real purchase.
How much did you pay for it, Phil? I can look, so just tell me.
22 something. So that I did pretty well. That's basically what I would have paid preseason for this type of card. True Gem Plus, and it's in Scott's favorite grading company, Beckett. And now I can't cross this. I can't crack and cross it because it does have some rather significant print lines that are vertical that were common for this set for this year. And unfortunately, Beckett was pretty lenient when they graded a lot of cards in 2013. So go back, 7-8 years ago, they let a lot of those print lines slide, unfortunately, but still really nicely centered. Got the good autograph. Bang, bang, bang.
Okay, here's a question, Phil. This might be a spitballing first. What do you want for that card? I'm in the market. No pressure.
Tons of pressure. Pressure him.
I know you're at 2,200. That's what you got. I can give you 25. Just kidding.
I don't know what it's worth now, man. I don't know what it's worth. I'd have to look at some comps. Has his market even gone up?
Use market movers.
I think
you're trying to use old comps, Scott. That's what you're doing.
Well, I know this card sold for 2,200 before the season started, so I'll take it for that price. Let's look. Aaron Judge, Bowman Chrome Auto.
All right. While you're looking that up, I just have to take umbrage with one thing that Phil said, and I can't believe it came out of Phil's mouth about Juan Soto as searching for the next Aaron Judge, because Juan Soto's in his age 25 season, which was Judge's first full year. So Soto's got like 32 WAR already built in, and he's just getting better and better. So I feel like it's a very real possibility that Soto has a better career than Judge, even if he doesn't hit 60 home runs.
I agree.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that won't happen for sure. I'm just saying
Soto.
like the guy right now was Judge until Soto showing that he might hit 40 plus home runs.
Do you want to compare? By the way, Phil, the last few comps are lower than I anticipated. So definitely don't sell it to me for comps because you don't want to sell to me for comps. But
Well,
if
you're looking at what subgrades are you looking at?
Oh, that's
You're
true.
looking at some that went for like 17, 18, 19.
Ty, do you want to use Market Movers? I'm not as familiar with that product, so I'm going to use Card Ladder, and it's not personal.
It's literally the same product.
Bowman Chrome Draft, Aaron Judge, Autograph Refractor, BGS 9.5.
Okay.
There's a true gem, I think, that went for $2,100 on May 30th, Phil.
Oh well.
A Min gem went for $19.76 on May 29th.
Damn it.
Refractor, you said.
I want to show you while Ty's doing that. I want to show you Aaron Judge versus Juan Soto through their age 25 season.
Yes, good idea.
Well, yeah. Hey,
There's
I
a
still like
purpose.
Soto guys. Like I
Oh,
try
we
not
know.
to pump them too much
Yeah, we know. Soto
at all.
Soto
So
is
you
a
wouldn't even know
player.
I collect them. But
But Soto getting lumped in with Tatis in the preseason. Oh, that hurts. That hurts.
What was the sale you said you saw?
I was trying to think of names. I don't know, like Matt Olson, Pete Alonso would have been probably better guys to bring up.
All right, here is Aaron Judge versus Juan Soto through their age 25 season, and Juan Soto's age 25 season is not even over yet.
Correct.
To show you how crazy debuting early can be for a player.
Mm-hmm.
The games played is obviously why, but it also just shows that it can really help a player's legacy, especially Soto being so good. He still has a 159 OPS plus, which I need to show this. Where did it go? Did I get rid of it?
Yeah, I mean, even in his down year last year, he was at what, 150?
So for players that have a photo past 1960, you have Barry Bonds, Manny Ramirez, Mike Trout, Aaron Judge, Mark McGwire, Frank Thomas, Larry Walker, Jim Tomei, Todd Helton, and Juan Soto. Oh, this is OPS. This is not OPS plus. It's like Todd Helton should not have an OPS plus that high because of course. Okay, there we go. For players that debuted past 1960, you have Trout, Judge, McGwire, Soto. He's fourth since 1960 OPS plus.
And Bonds.
Did I skip Bonds?
Yeah.
Bonds.
Bonds didn't make the list. It wasn't good enough.
What's that?
I'm just kidding. I said Bonds didn't make the list. He didn't make the cut. He's not good enough.
They don't put cheaters on the list.
Hat size was too big.
He's right next to Jose Ramirez in the rankings.
There we go.
Speaking of which, Jeff, so Soto last year, his OPS plus, you said it was around 150. It's funny how in his worst year, he's got an OPS plus around 150. In Spencer Torkelson's breakout year last year, he had an OPS plus of 107-ish.
107, which is exactly what Ichiro Suzuki's OPS plus for his career was.
Isn't that crazy?
You need the walks. Adam Dunn had a better OBP than Ichiro.
Oh, yeah.
Billy Butler has a career OPS plus of 116. Billy Butler, shout out.
Yeah. So don't look at OPS plus. It's not a
No, Billy Butler was good. All-star caliber. Silver Slugger winner.
Better than Jeter.
It's a soundbite.
Less defensive run
I'm
saved.
gonna use that in the future.
Better defense.
Billy Butler was good.
That could be your ringtone. Okay, so
There you go.
what was that last sale?
2,100.
Okay, Phil, I'll give you $2,100 for it.
And that was for a true gem. Yeah, but I got 10 centering.
Yeah, don't do it, Phil.
I'm
That's
just kidding, Phil.
3K, take it or leave it.
I'll just do what show dealers would say. Like, well, did you buy it though? Did you get it? Okay, it's gone now. It doesn't matter anymore.
That's
Is that
right.
what they say?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the
Phil,
last
would you take?
time.
Would you take $3,000 for it? Or are you holding for the long run?
I don't know, man. I've accumulated a bunch of the refractor Bowman Chrome autos sort of as a collection. I'm not a flipper like you, Scott. So I've got.
I love that wax, Phil.
I've got an Acuna. I'll probably have
impressive.
that for a while. A
Yeah,
J-Rod.
You guys know that I bought a Judge.
Trout.
Did you?
I bought a Judge. I told you about this. It's so painful. It hurts so bad.
Wow.
Where is it? Come on, let me find the tab.
Yeah, all
Right
those
here.
cards you just said, Phil. Trout, Acuna. You're holding them for a good little bit.
Oh yeah.
Bought the 2022 opening day variation. These are hard to hit, as you can
Swipe for
see.
the sad part.
Player odds 1 in 34,000 packs. And this bad boy
You didn't
is
get it.
Oh,
creased. It's amazing. I wonder how many cards I've ever kept in a top loader for a while before. I mean, I never noticed this, but you can actually see the creases in this card, and it was in the top loader that way. Things just bent down the middle. I considered giving it a good old Kurt's Card Care soak, but I'm shipping it back to the.
Did the top loader have a bend in it, or did that happen before the top?
Top loader did not have a bend in it. That's where the guy who sold it to me was like, that card was perfect, pack pulled right into a top loader. And I'm like, it's pretty subtle to where you could maybe not have noticed it if you just shoved it into a top loader, but the top loader didn't have a bend in it. So
I'm gonna say maybe it's shipping.
And it was in package. It was very well packaged, like very well packaged, over the top packaged. So
is he taking it back?
Yeah. Well, he said he's filing a claim through that like UPS Ground Advantage $100 insurance that it got damaged in transit, and I'm like,
even if the top loader's not damaged.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. I don't know.
Good luck with
that. The guy
that.
had good eBay feedback, so I don't know that he's trying to do anything shady. Maybe he just didn't notice it, like going into the top loader, or maybe he bought it somewhere else. Who knows? But I was pretty bummed because I like that image, and it's like full donkey teeth, you know.
Was that before his veneers? Because he has veneers now.
I don't know.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's before.
Catching something.
I wish Chris was here to make a comment about Freddie Freeman's teeth. He always
donkey
does.
Teeth.
Miss you, Chris. We love you. All right, I think that's a great place to end. Should I talk about the card I picked up yesterday, or should I not talk about that card till it's in?
You don't jinx yourself. I would not jinx yourself.
I will tell you about it next week, so stay tuned for that. Other than that, guys, thanks for watching. Let us in the comments down below what you think of Aaron Judge, and on top of that, what you think of pitchers in regards to that Paul Skenes Superfractor autograph. And we will see you in the next video.